Hello everyone, Bertina Amy here, and welcome to my channel. In today's video, I thought I would do 4 DIY wooden ornaments. So for the first project for today, I decided to create this Santa gnome ornament. And oh my god, I'm so excited because at the Dollar Tree, my last visit, I saw that they sold these Creatology packs of fur. So of course, I had to buy a pack. You're going to need a wooden ornament and wooden beads. So last year I did a tester on these DIY gnome ornaments for Christmas, and I chose a smaller bead from the Dollar Tree, and I felt like that nose was just way too small. So I recommend getting these. They're about like an inch round ball beads. So if you don't have this exact wooden ornament, you can always create your own template to create the beard bottom part of the ornament, and that'll work just fine as well. But basically, when you're cutting out the beard part of the fur, make sure you cut the back part of the fur, and be careful not to cut with scissors because it's just going to give you straight lines. It's not going to look as good. I basically just traced mine, then took this roller cutter from the Dollar Tree, and that's the only sharp craft tool that I had, so that's what I used to cut mine out with. I decided to do 2 of these. I don't know why. I didn't want the back just to be plain wood. You don't have to do that part. You could skip that if you want, because in other projects I don't necessarily do the back either. Once I finish gluing the beards on both sides, then I try to fix the beards so that they look nice. And then I take the round ball bead and then I glue that to the top of the beard, only one side. Then I had purchased this red stocking from Dollar Tree, and I thought I would use the remaining fabric to help create the hat for this gnome. And I knew I wanted a pretty big hat. I had these packs of mini hats, but I didn't feel like it would look good with this gnome, so I wanted a bigger hat for this one. So I decided to create my own. So I'm just kind of eyeballing it, cutting basically like a triangle going up, and gluing one edge or the edges together that are open, and then I'm taking some extra white faux fur from the stocking and then creating the brim of the hat. So as I tried to make this hat, I actually made mine just a little too small, so I used the brim to try to be a little looser with, so that way it'll fit over the gnome's beard and nose, so that way nothing can be seen as far as the original wooden ornament. So trim off the excess, and then it's time to fit the hat to the gnome, and it should give you a little extra leeway with the brim to be able to make sure it fits fine. And once you are satisfied with the placement, go ahead and add glue to the back of the gnome, and then make sure to put glue surrounding the hat to cover around the nose as well. And keep in mind, my project didn't turn out perfect, and don't expect yours to turn out perfect either. As long as you like the way it turns out, that's all that really matters. So I spent a lot of time trying to scrunch up this hat to make it look nice, because I've seen a lot of gnomes in general in images and things like that where it appeared as though their hats are kind of folded and things like that, and that's the kind of look I was trying to achieve. I don't know that I did it that well, but I kept going with it because I was trying to encourage others to think outside the box, or maybe try to be creative, or try to do something more than just ordinary, if that makes any sense. I mean, there's certainly nothing wrong with not adding the folds in. It can still look cute without it, or you could do something as simple as just taking the top of the hat, folding it downwards, and having the ball part, the white fuzzy ball part, be attached to the front part of the hat, if that makes sense. There's ways around being able to make something look nice without all the extra effort too. And because I didn't have the fuzzy ball part for the hat, I went ahead and made my own using yarn. I have this yarn on hand, but I'm sure you could find white yarn at the Dollar Tree as well. And I'm just making a pom-pom ball. So my pom-pom ball didn't turn out perfect by any means, but once I got to the shape that I was satisfied with, I went ahead and just attached it to the hat. Then I had some green twine, probably from the Dollar Tree. I've had it for a while, and I just use that to wrap around the hat and use that as the hanger. And then off camera, I actually decided, after all, to like glue the pom-pom, just covering what I felt were mistakes of the red hat. And I think that actually will look cuter, and it'll actually allow it to hang better easily instead of being all kind of floppy. I hope that makes sense. But let me know in the comments below what you think of this project. So for this next project, I'm showing you how I made this DIY Dollar Tree Santa Grinch gnome. So you basically need the same supplies as you did for the Santa gnome, but this one will require a sickly green fur. I was able to find this one from Amazon, small little patch of fur, and I'm using that for this project. So I'm starting out the same way, taking the wooden ornament and using the bottom half to trace the size and shape of what I would need for the beard for the Grinch gnome ornament. I also had this pack of mini hats that I'm going to be using for the gnome, the Grinch gnome for this project as well. So I take some spring green acrylic paint and some white paint and a little bit of black chalk paint to try to create my own sickly green paint color for the nose. The paint color does not need to exactly match the fur, because think about it, your hair doesn't necessarily match your skin tone either, so it doesn't have to be exact. Alternatively, if you have something else you'd like to use for the sickly green color, I've seen people use that sort of sparkling green that sort of looks, I would call it like minty, or maybe sort of, I don't know what to call it. Let me know if you know what that is in the comments below, but basically, the sky's the limit. You can choose what colors you'd like to use for this project. But I go ahead and mix mine, and then I paint the ball bead and let it dry so I can move on to the next part of the project. So while the nose is drying, I go ahead and take the ornament and the fur, and I trace out the bearded shape, and then I cut it out at the back of the fur, and then I take the fur and glue it onto the wooden ornament. With the extra ball bead, I try to place it where I think I'm going to have the nose for the Grinch gnome. So I try to spread apart the fur so that I can make space for the nose. And I do the best I can here. It's not going to be perfect, but it turns out alright, I think. Let me know what you think. But basically, I just make space for it and see where I'm going to place it once the nose is ready to go. I go ahead and glue the back of the hat to the back of the ornament. If you would prefer to make the entire project all Dollar Tree items, you certainly can get yarn instead if you don't find the right shade of fur, and you can make your own fur using yarn, or pretend the yarn is the hair or whatever, because that could work too. And I was able to find a pack of this sickly green color of fur from the Dollar Tree, and this other pack of yarn sickly green color from Amazon as well. Both of them are good options and are definitely much cheaper than just the small little square of sickly green fur. I decided to rummage through my supplies, and I was looking through and found some glitter that I had bought years ago from Dollar Tree, and I knew in the pack it came with some kind of metallic lime green type of glitter, and I thought, oh my gosh, that would be perfect for the gnome's nose. I didn't end up covering it completely with all the glitter because I didn't want it to be overwhelming. I just was gonna give you guys some ideas or something like that in case you wanted to do this. I don't know that they still sell this glitter, but you probably could find it anywhere else. Or you could maybe look for a similar shade in a sort of lime green, or maybe the word is army green, sort of metallic color that can maybe work for the sickly green gnome nose. So once the nose is totally dry, go ahead and take it and glue it into the spot right under, or below rather, the hat, and right where the sort of mustache I've kind of created is, right in the middle. And then I glue the hat surrounding it as best as I can. Lastly, I take my scissors, I snip either side of the hat, and I string through using a paper clip the twine into the little holes I just created, and pull it out, and then I make a hanger that way. In this project, I thought I'd show you how I made this DIY Grinch ornament. The first thing I do is I take my GYS alcohol-based marker and I color the entire thing this sickly green color. I go ahead and do both sides. Then I freehand drew the Grinch's face onto the ornament, and if this is something you're not comfortable with, what you could do is you could print out a picture or a copy of his face, and you could trace it onto the ornament itself. What you could do is you could color the backside with pencil completely and use that as like to make a carbon copy onto the ornament itself. Next, I take my black alcohol marker 120 and I use that to outline the facial features. I didn't do this part in pencil, but I go around with my black marker and I give his cheeks a sort of furry look by copying kind of what it looks like in the image. You don't have to do this part. You could try to do this if you'd like. It's totally up to you. Next, I go ahead and take my white gel marker and color in his eyes white. I chose to color it white because I felt like that would stand out better than the bright yellow color that his eyes usually are. It's totally up to you if you want to color it in yellow. You certainly can do that with your alcohol markers. Next is the fun part. I take this mini red hat from Amazon. It came in a pack of, I think it was 12, and I'm going to glue it and attach it where I like on the Grinch's head. You can skip this part, but I really think this makes the character come to life. And just like in the image, I'm going to glue the top part of the hat to the left side of the Grinch's face. Then I go ahead and glue the white fur to itself to help secure the hat even better. Then I take a piece of twine, fold it in half, and make a knot at the ends, and then I string it through the opening between the hat where it kind of loops over, where it's like kind of like there's almost like a hole. I can't really explain that. I hope I'm making sense, but basically I string it through and I stick the knotted end through the loop of the other end of the twine, and then I pull it straight through, and then you'll have like a loop to hang it onto your Christmas tree. And that's how I made this DIY Grinch ornament. Let me know what you think in the comments below. In this next project, I show you how I made these DIY decoupage ornaments. I first start out by taking some scrap tissue paper and tearing it down to smaller pieces, and then Mod Podging it to the front and the back. When you're doing a project like this, I highly recommend that you select 2 colors for your decoupage ornament so that you can see both of those through. If you try to do more than that, it might become one of the other colors might become like more in the background and you might not see it as much, but I decided on 2. So I started out with using this leftover burgundy color that I created from a previous project. And of course, you're going to want to paint the front and the back of your ornament as well. Then once dry, take your secondary color and kind of dip it into some water first and dip into the color that you're going to use so that it's more of a highlight. I decided to go with gold and I really like the results of that. Once dry, I take some long green twine, I think it's from the Dollar Tree, and I string it through the remaining part of the ornament, and I kind of sort of go around it by tying it on there over and over and over again. I hope that makes sense. But basically you put the string through and then you kind of tie it on there and then you keep going around and round and round until you get to the very end. I hope that makes sense. I try to tie the knot to be as close to the piece of wood as possible, and it ends up coming out with like this sort of edge to it, I guess you call it. And that's just what I decided to do for mine. You don't have to use twine, you can use string, or you can just paint it all together. It's totally up to you. If you've been following my channel for a while, you know that I really love texture into my creations, and so I really like the addition of the twine personally. So once you've made knots all the way around the entire edge of the top of the ornament, then what I try to do, at least to try to cover up any wood part, is I try to go around the front and back so that way it covers up the wood as well there. And I just do the best that I can. And after that, the project is complete. Let me know what you think of this one in the comments below. And here I show you how I did one that was a base color of blue with a silver top out over top. Let me know what you think in the comments below. If you enjoyed this video, please smash that like button and subscribe. And until next time, we'll see you in the next one. Thanks for watching. Bye.